Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, life experience, direct experience, gives you the real assessment of reality of life around you. Not what a book would tell you or what a friend will tell you or the mass media tells you, okay? That is, let me give you an example. You are involved in a intimate relationship with someone that you really love, and that person tells you all the time, I love you, 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 blah, blah, blah. Well, if those statements do not match her or his behavior, acts, that means that's not true. That person can tell you, the loved one can tell you, well, does everything for you. But when you ask for something, nothing will happen. So which one is reality? That or the action? The action, the activity. So that's what happens in this democratic, supposed free world. They tell you have the right to do this, you have the right to do this. You are free, you're free, you're free. Until you want to do something and you test those freedoms. And when you test those freedoms, you realize that the same guys who tell you everything is good, man, you're free to protest, you're free to say whatever, you're a free person, you have to go wherever you want, do whatever you want, just don't harm anybody. Then the moment you start doing that for real, and somehow that would affect them, you're going to realize that all this is just a stage. Everything is just a game that they are in control of. That's the problem. So I'm going to Moldova. Not going to Moldova with the article. I would not go to Moldova for many reasons. Now, this is what happens. Over there we have a government that now is supported by the Western monolithic West, whatever, United States, and everyone who's against Russia will support Moldova. Regardless, Moldova could be right now involved in a genocide within its country and nation. They would not care. They would care only that they will oppose Russia. So if there will be, I don't know, Hitler, where let's say Sandu, the name of the Moldovan president is, if Hitler will be over there and not Sandu, and Hitler would oppose Russia at this point, they would be allied with that person. I almost guarantee you that. Why? Look what they did in Saudi Arabia. They talked about democracy and freedom and all that, and they supported Saudi Arabia, which, excuse me, but by their own standards, our own standards, that would be considered, you know what I mean? But still, our friends, our allies, and blah, blah, blah. The same here with Moldova. Now, Moldova supposedly applied to be, in the European Union, NATO, and all that. That means you have to, go and meet certain kind of requirements. Well, I don't think they will. But look, they're not gonna do anything else, anything more stupid than, let's say, Trudeau did. You're gonna find out. Or Biden. The free world. So Moldova extends state of emergency for 60 days starting December 6th. So this article comes from Al Mayadin from today, the 30th of November 2022. If you're familiar with what's going on in Moldova, there are some protests. So people go in the street and they protest. They don't like how the country is being led by these guys. So they protest. Freedom of assembly, right? Freedom to protest, yes. Free speech, yes. Until you are real and until you somehow influence them because they get big, that means you have to go. So when that moment comes, like with Trudeau, remember that the truckers convoy? When those guys in Ottawa, and not only in Ottawa, it was in Windsor, across from Detroit, when they did that, what did he do? All of a sudden, he didn't like dialogue anymore. This fucking communist Trudeau, your guy. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so he didn't like dialogue. He didn't talk with the guys. No, he was above. He just called them bad people with fringe minority, with unacceptable views. Fuck off. All right? You don't tell me what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. We are part of the society, okay? And we can dictate what's acceptable and not. But he already said it. And what did he do when he was challenged? He invoked emergency powers. Emergency. Why? Because his fucking chair was shaking. So what did he do? Emergency power, disperse those guys. Moldova extends state of emergency. What does that mean? The same emergency powers for Sandu because she has to go. And the same with the Biden, with the lockdowns here in the United States. What do you think those were? They protected us, right? Yes, yes, yes. So, people chant. So, initially the state of emergency was launched on February 24th and was constantly extended afterward. Moldova. Why that? People chant slogans during a protest initiated by the populist Shore Party, calling for early elections of President Maya Sandu's resignation. Right? In Moldova. All right, so that occurred in November 13, 2022. Moldova is contemplating extending the state of emergency as a result of the energy crisis ensuing ensuing because of the war in Ukraine. They can say tomorrow is, I don't know, Thursday, and we're going to just implement this, okay? Oh, the Russians are over there. Imagine Romania. Romania right now, if there's demonstrations in Romania, Romanian government can do the same thing and claim the same bullshit. Why? Because they border Ukraine. Big time. And they can say, well, we will take care of you little protesters that you don't like us. State of emergency. Bang, get them in. You know what it is? Curfews, arrests, beatings, under the umbrella of emergency. The Russians are there. And so can do the Germans, anyone. They will say, well, because of the Russia war, it's so much destabilization here that we have to invoke emergency powers, like Trudeau. So see, this is happening in these beautiful democratic countries. There's been a lot of, how do you call it, protests in Moldova lately. And this is one thing that they don't like. Let me tell you a little personal story. When I used to be employed for a certain kind of department, we had all kind of things, and you have your task, you have to do this and you have to do that. And at one point it was an emergency. I mean, the whole thing was great. People were great, the relationship between individuals were amicable or nice, let's put it this way. There was no sign of any problems. The directors, this and that were all good. Everything was good. Now the whole department started sucking at one point because of certain kind of bad management and policies and other things. And then the department was going down. And then what happened? You could see how things changed overnight. The behavior between the guys over there who the day before were great with everybody else. Everybody else were great. Started implementing certain kind of policies and being assholes with the people that yesterday they were all friend, all dandy. When things started going down and their position started being shaky because they didn't do a good job making sure the company's department is going great, what they do? They started to drop everything on these guys and started implementing all kind of authoritarian policies. And those guys could not do anything about it. So the same here. When things go bad, what are you going to do? You have to defend yourself. And to save not the system? No, your ass. So all this beautiful, we're all friends, we have parties together, right? We go together, we have outings and picnics and all that organized because everything was good. The moment things went a little bit down, you see reality right there and see who's who, what's what, as a human being. The same here. We're all democratic, free world. Remember Trudeau when Xi Jinping grabbed him by his ear at G20 and he told him, hey, we don't do this kind of shit. This is not right, there's certain things that are confidential. They should remain confidential. And he said, well, in a democratic and free society like Canada, which we fucking know it's not so, ask your Canadian friends, and I know, guys, we like to be open and we fuck off. Just go home and, I don't know, I can't say it. It's YouTube. Anyway, but I guess you can think what I... Take a bath. Anyway, so this is immediately. But what did he do with the truckers? For their own safety, he had to intervene. For their own safety. That's what if someone would have gotten killed? Why don't you go and talk with those guys? Because they were Canadian citizens. That's what you're supposed to do in a free society. You listen to the people. Because you're over there, you're not in charge of them. You're not their boss. You're over there to represent them. That's how the system goes. That has to be instilled in the population. Those guys that are voted over there and those weasels who appoint some bureaucrats, moreover, those are your employees. They're not over there to tell you what to do, and they're not your teachers, they're not your counselors, they're not your, how should I put it, your directors, they're not your principals in school. No, and you're the student. No, you hired them to do a job. That means they have to treat you with respect, because without you choosing them to be over there and putting them over there, they should be jobless because they don't know anything else to do. So, you know, but people are with the help of the mass media, with the help of the mass media. Why do I say that? Because the mass media should start every morning and end every evening with this message. Our elected representatives and their weasels appointed bureaucrats are our employees. They are our employees. We hire them, we can fire them. And not every 5 years. We can do it whenever. You know, and things like this. But they don't do it. They maintain this idea that they say the leaders, our leaders. No, they're not our leaders. They are our representatives. They're our employees. If you have an employee, what does that mean? That you're the boss. That's my employee. I hired the fucker to do a job. And that fucker is telling me what to do? You're fired, motherfucker. You're not doing a good job. So yeah, this guy comes and tells, like Trudeau, comes and tells everybody what to do and how to do, and he lectures everybody. Hey boy, I don't even know if you are one anyway. Put hand over there, just like a, don't find any. Thank you very much for being with me again today. And look at this Sandu, the same thing. The same thing. Why? Because under that emergency powers that she's gonna have, they're gonna say curfew. You guys is not allowed. We're not gonna have any demonstrations anymore. That's it. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna send the army. That's what they're gonna do. They can't do that. In a state of emergency, you have army patrolling the streets. What do you want? And who's the boss? Sandu. Because they're gonna protect not you, they're gonna protect her and the power that is kept over there by the other guys overseas that are having the Ukraine in the same time caught by the ball, and the Ukrainian nation is fucking decimated. Do they care? They got 4 little kosher pigs over there, the little pigs. Remember one? Pop, 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 pop. They got over there in charge of the Ukrainian nation. Thank you very much. They want the same thing happen to Russia, but as of now, they're not succeeding. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.